Hi, I am kg-stutts, and you're listening to me live on Jerry Royce Live.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Jerry Royce Live on Positive Power 21.org. I am the voice of Jerry Royce, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power 21. And today's sponsors are FastTechSolutions.net. If you need your internet, I'm sorry, not your internet. If you want to rebuild and install your computer network infrastructure and perform computer repairs, call FastTechSolutions.net. But they're only located in the Delmarva area, so you have to be in this area. But you can ship broken systems to them, and they will act on that quickly. Also, we want to thank Resume Guy. He actually held an event today in the community teaching people how to sell themselves during a job interview, and also talking to them about the structure of their resume. So we want to send kudos out to the Resume Guy for doing a free event in the Baltimore area. So that was okay. And if you need to see him, you hit him up at www.career-image.com, and that'll be the Resume Guy, Reggie Resume Guy Gant. Good guy. All right. And also we want to say thank you to REI Heritage Tours and the Harriet Tubman Museum on the Eastern Shore for hosting the big conference they had. We're still waiting to get that up on YouTube for you. But if you're interested in taking a 30 site-related freedom seeker tour from the 1800s, give them a call at 1-800-522-TOUR, 1-800-522-TOUR. All right. And I want to give a shout-out to some people that we had on the show recently. They did a fantastic job, and I left my notes upstairs, but I'm going to try to find them on my phone. But I definitely want to thank Ramon Marquise. We're planning a big event tomorrow night, Friday Night Live, so come out and check it out. It's going to be uncovering Mr. Right. We're going to be talking to Firemouth and LaQuette out of D.C. And I think, matter of fact, Firemouth is out of the New Orleans area, so Louisiana, up in that area. So check us out. We're going to be out there Friday night around 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. You'll see the numbers right out there. And join in and listen and have a good time. We should have Kelly B come on and join us probably in the 11 o'clock show. You guys know how funny she is, and she's got some information out there to share with you guys when it comes to romance, because she says she knows how to keep it hot. All right. And also we want to thank Kill Bill Chef, better known as Rebecca Lopez from Broken Bars Publishing. She did a fantastic job with spoken word last night. Check out that on replay. We also want to thank her publisher, Ronnie Dawson, for introducing us to these fantastic artists, and we want to continue to forward more and more to us. And we want to thank a special thanks to Pamela Samuels Young. We definitely want to thank her and check her book out. We've been promoting her also. So we thank everybody for being part of this and continue to join us. All right, as we bring you more and more exciting guests. All right, on the show tonight we have, I'm going to call it kg-stutts. She's also known as Christina. She's a science fiction and romance writer. I think her book is called Mirror Image and Change of Stars. Yeah, I think that's what she's pushing. We're going to talk to her. She's going to tell you all about it. Let me read her bio real quick. Growing up in Texas and later South Carolina as the youngest in a house full of science fiction fans, kg-stutts had her natural curiosity and imagination nurtured since birth by family movie nights where they would watch Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and even timeless Disney favorites. A prolific writer of sci-fi, romance, and mystery, KG draws much of her inspiration from those amazing works that gave her appreciation for telling rich, compelling, and character-driven stories for all audiences. All right. So welcome to the show, Christine. How you doing tonight?
I'm great, Jerry. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And, I don't know why I asked you in the instant message what your genre was. The reason I called you on here was because I love science fiction. Love
Oh,
it.
wonderful.
Yes. Now, I know I didn't say enough about you, so why don't you tell us about yourself, something that's not in your bio, that's on your website that you think your fans will enjoy knowing. Okay? It's all yours.
Like I said, I appreciate you having me on the show tonight. I've been a big sci-fi lover all my life. One thing that a lot of people kind of ears perk up when they hear is I'm also a big wrestling fan. And in fact, I actually referee independent wrestling matches in North Carolina. If you look at CWF247.com, Katie Kincaid is actually me. It's where I met my husband. And a lot of weekends are spent at wrestling shows, and it's a lot of fun.
Good, good. All right, so you big in the wrestling. My kids are too. They love it. Matter of fact, my son he bribed me into purchasing that WWE Raw channel that runs on the PS3
WWE
system.
Network.
Yeah.
The network is fantastic. You can't beat that for $10 a month and all the pay-per-views and TV shows. It's a great deal.
Oh, he loves it, and it streams so well too. The systems are so powerful now. You can take entertainment anywhere as long as you have a good connection. So he really enjoys that and keeps him out of trouble around the house. All right, so he's a big wrestling fan, and I think we are also planning a go-to event that's coming up in July. All my kids, all of us will be there. So we waiting to get those tickets. Yeah, right here in the Baltimore area. All right, so you really big into wrestling. Now, your household is big into sci-fi. Now, what are some of your favorites right now that the audience would like to know? What are some of your favorites?
I'm real excited that a new Star Trek series is coming out with Renegades. I'm actually, my publisher, Katrina, and I have been talking about that a lot lately. We're both kind of very big into that. Yeah, I try to get my hands on just as much as I can nowadays. It's kind of hard, with balancing work but huge into Star Trek. It's been too long since it's been on TV, in my opinion. I really got into the Clone Wars cartoons for the Star Wars, and I've been catching up on that on Netflix. Pretty much a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Now, have you tried Continuum yet?
I have not, but didn't Sci-Fi cancel Continuum?
No, it's running back. They were shooting up in Canada, and because I haven't seen an episode yet, because what's going to happen during 4th of July weekend, I think I'm going to have 3 or 4 days off. I'm going to spend probably a Saturday night away from this stuff and just go Continuum and maybe catch up on a couple other things I've been interested in, before all this happened. But yes, Continuum, you will love it.
I've been told that I would get in Continuum. I just hadn't had a chance to really sit down and watch it yet. And Orphan Black is another one that of course, my sci-fi story, Mirror Image, is about clones, so I automatically get asked about Orphan Black. I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to catch it yet, but I will, I promise.
Yeah, that's another one. So is that one running on cable or on Netflix channels?
It's on Netflix, I believe.
Okay,
I'm sure somebody will correct me here in a bit, but
yeah, because I'm caught up with Continuum. I just need to catch up with the 3rd season. But you have that first season was crazy, and they're really good about replaying back some of the stuff that's pretty significant to the episode that's about to run. But I think you would love it. It is run on Netflix, and I think the Sci-Fi actually have a on-demand channel on the cable networks as well. So I think you would love it. They have a character on that, Kira. I just love her to death. Woo.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And really good supporting cast too. Even the bad guys, you can pick a favorite with those guys as well. And I don't want to spoil it for people, but if you're really into time travel, that was one of the few time travel flicks I watched that it really makes sense. But it's still some pieces they're not going to tell you. They're going to be trying to save it for the finale. But I think you would enjoy it tremendously. And maybe you want to, follow that pursuit of time travel. Now, we're going to get into your book in a little bit.
Actually, time travel is a big portion of the second book in my Mirror series. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about your writing background. So where you get your writing skills from?
My mother was a big inspiration when I was growing up. just always encouraged me. I would, in high school, I'd write little poems and songs, and actually my senior year, I did a poem for the graduating class, which my creative arts teacher printed out and posted it all over the walls at school. So It was very daunting to walk the halls of Stratford High and see my poem on the wall. And I think it actually made it in the yearbook too. But when my mom died in 2000, it really kind of dwindled a lot for me. Like that, I always tied that with her, and at the time, it was really emotional for me. I just couldn't get back into it. But one of my best friends, Tama, is a writer too, and she kept encouraging me. She was like, "You would feel better if you just write." And I started having dreams, very vivid dreams, where I was this young woman about my age, who finds out that she's a clone. And I got to about 2 weeks. Every night I went to bed, experience what Maddie experienced. I was her in these dreams, and it was so vivid. And I'd wake up and tell my husband in great detail. And he's just like, "You're kind of driving me a little crazy with this." And I was telling Tama, and she goes, "You got to write it. It's the only way it's going to get out of your head." And I started writing, and that's Mirror Image that came out in April.
Wow. So that's good. Now, sorry to hear about the loss of your mama. I know she was very dear to your heart, and she was in so many ways. But have you dedicated any writing to her? Like poetry. I mean, a poetry book.
On my computer, yes.
Okay.
Things that I don't know if I will ever feel comfortable in sharing, just because that was such a huge part of me and tied to her. But I do have some things on my computer that I look at from time to time for her.
Oh, good. Yeah, sometimes you can't share everything.
Yeah.
Now, also on your website, on Amazon, say that you enjoy. Let me say when she's not weaving words, she enjoys reading, playing RPGs. RPGs. What's that? A game?
Role-playing games. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm a big video gamer.
All right, and then you have hockey on there. You're a big hockey fan.
I'm a huge Washington Capitals fan.
Wow. All right. So where are you in right now?
I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, you're in North Carolina. Okay, because you said on the site say later South Carolina, so now you're living in North Carolina.
Yeah. I grew up, I'm originally from Texas and moved to South Carolina when I was about 10. Of course, my southern accent has to come out every time I say 10. And when I met my husband, I moved up to North Carolina where he was from, and been here with him ever since, about 11 years now.
All right. Shout out to Brad. I know he's a big supporter of yours. Probably your biggest fan. That's right. You need that when you taking away time from him, right?
Yeah, he's very supportive of my writings, and sometimes he's like, "You need to go. You just go in front of your computer. You're driving me a little crazy." He's a big supporter on that and very proud. So I'm lucky to have somebody like him on my side.
That's right. Supporting spouse. Now, also
he's very blessed.
Yeah, you're a big football fan. So who's the biggest football fan in the family, Brad or you?
That hands down me.
Really?
Brad likes to, Brad likes to, like, if we gather with a bunch of our friends to Buffalo Wild Wings, he likes to come out and he enjoys the atmosphere. And lucky guy has actually been up to Green Bay with with our best friend Grant, because I'm a huge Packer fan. Actually, I grew up a Minnesota Vikings fan, so I'm a traitor in my family anytime football season comes around. But yeah, he likes the atmosphere and the fun of the game, but I'm actually like the actual football fan in the house.
So you hardcore to the bone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we are here in Baltimore. You know how we roll, especially, after losing the team and, then everybody kind of jumped ship and had to go find their own team. So I was kind of following, the Redskins. I mean, not the Redskins. Oh, my God, I said the Redskins. I was following San Francisco 49ers. And then I kind of went over to Philadelphia Eagles, and then I kind of started liking Atlanta Falcons, and then I think I ended with Dallas Cowboys. And then when we got our own team, I let the Cowboys go because Barry Switzer was driving me crazy anyway. So I was hanging in there until he could win the Super Bowl. So then, then we got our own team. I said, okay, I'm in break because we had arena football, all that stuff, and we were going to all those games, so we had a great time with all of that. Yeah.
Well, when I was in South Carolina, we had the arena football team, the Swamp Foxes, and I was actually working at a restaurant called Little Country Buffet, and we were one of the sponsors. So the team would come in after the games and pretty much clear us out of any food that we had left. And I was 16 at the time, so it was very kind of exciting to me to get to go. And I was actually the mascot for the restaurant at one of the games, and that was a lot of fun to be out on the field. Almost got my head taken off by one of the other Swamp Foxes. Something that the manager at the restaurant, every time he sees me, he asks me about that. Which, is one of the crowning moments to this day, I guess. Nearly almost getting my head taken off on the field.
All right. I know nothing like football. My youngest son is really into it, so we hardcore around here. Hardcore. He's actually talking about getting there himself. We've been invited to the Ravens facility. He actually held a trophy up. A little 10-year-old guy holding a trophy, just him. There's no other grieving fans, trying to rustle it. He actually stood there. We took the candid shots. We got a poster size done, and he's been gung-ho ever since. So he's actually training right now for the NFL. He's only 11.
That's exciting.
He works
Good luck
out,
with him on that.
He works out 3 days a week with a speed coach and an agility coach. So he's really into it. So I said, okay, that's what he wants, so I'll entertain it, He gets good grades, straight A student. So you got to support your kids, wherever you can.
Absolutely.
That's right. All right. Now, you got 2 books out, so we're going to jump into your book a little bit. We want to get the sports out the way because I can talk about sports forever.
I could too.
You have 2 books out. Tell us, how did Mirror Image happen? Tell us a little bit about that because I know you released that book. No, wait a minute. Yeah, that was your first book. So you released 2 books in 1 year. 2 books in 1 year?
Oh, I've got a lot more coming out this year.
Oh, wow.
I have the potential for 3 books to be coming out in August. So it's the latter half of this year is going to be pretty crazy for me.
Oh, wow. Well, go ahead and tell us a little bit about, why you write Mirror Images.
Mirror Image was just, like I said, in that dream, it was so vivid, and I had a clear image in my head of Maddie and everyone around, and it really stuck with me. So I started writing, and it was a story that, as a book lover, of course, as an author, I would want to pick up and read, and it became something that I was like, well, if I'm that excited about it, maybe somebody else would like to read it. It was the first time I really thought about publishing. And, Brad was very supportive on that, and my friend Tamla was, very encouraging on that. And it went through about a year process going through, just being so new, I wasn't sure what I was doing. So I would go through a lot of revision processes, and the characters really do write the story. I just kind of hold the pen. And originally was not a romance story at all. I had no, this was not going to be a romance. And I kept getting introduced to John Brooks and his 2 brothers, and I'm like, no, I'm not going this way. And Maddie's like, yes, you are. So I had to go through, and when I actually rewrote it for it to be a sci-fi romance, it really became, full-fledged, in my opinion. It finally felt like a real solid book. And I started shopping around for publishers, and I had a couple of them that said that the writing was good, but of course you can tell that I was still really green, and just told me to keep at it. And I had one, I still remember to this day, I had that email saved, told me that if I put a sex scene in it, she would publish it. And I sent a very professional response back. No, I appreciate your interest, but I do not want to have that involved in my sci-fi. Just growing up as a sci-fi fan, I didn't want that involved. Romance is fine. I wanted to have a nice, sweet, clean romance. This is something my father and my brother were going to read. And I did not feel comfortable showing my grandmother a book knowing that it had, any kind of sex in it. And I'm glad I kept to my guns. And I was on Twitter one day, and I had a new follower, and I started talking to her. And just, in my opinion, just a very idle chat, asking me about the other books that I was doing. And I had submitted a book. Somebody recommended on Twitter to a company called Distinguished Press. And I had about a week or so before I started talking to this woman on Twitter, I had gotten an email that wanting the full manuscript. So excited. And I was like, yeah, I'm waiting to hear. And she asked me about it, and I was waiting to hear back, but I was already working on the second one, and because I knew it was going to be a series, and I had, several of the books in line, and that ended up being the publisher for Distinguished Press. I was the owner. And I didn't know that. And Katrina hit it off brilliantly, and I got an email the next day as I was driving to work thanking me for a wonderful conversation on Twitter and asked if I would join her company. And I almost veered off the road. Never check your phone while you're driving. And I will never do that again. But if my Gmail pops, that's the thing I always check because you never know what it is. And, I was very happy to be part of Distinguished Press. They are a publisher of series. So knowing that I had plans for the second and third in the series and there could possibly be more, knowing that if I got a contract, I could see my books out, really takes a lot of weight off your shoulders.
That's right. Wow. Now, Mirror Images, tell us a little bit about it.
Maddie is a brilliant scientist who is actually not working in her scientific field. She's she works in physics. She is actually working at a call center, and there's a shooting at work, and she gets saved and pulled into this car by a guy named Jackson Gray, who is just, I'm here to protect you. Everything's okay now, and she gets taken to this secret government facility where she meets herself. Wow. And there's just that moment that's always clear in my head. And anytime anybody wants an excerpt, that's the scene I always show, is Jackson apologizing, knocking on the door, and here comes the mirror image of Maddie, only with short hair, walking through the door. And she meets Mac for the first time. And she finds out that she's a clone. And the government facility that she's in is called the Intergalactic Security Commission, the ISC. And, we're not alone in this world. But when the commission was formed years ago, it was determined that we're not ready to accept that we're not alone. And there's alien races who don't want friendly interest with Earth. And the ISC was created to protect us. So anybody who joined the ISC had an option of creating a clone for them that would basically take over their lives. So that way, family and friends wouldn't miss them because basically they drop off. They go. Once Mac joins the ISC, she's taken out of society. That's where she's at now. So Maddie's taking over her life and is very protective because the way that they believe the cloning process works is that the life of the clone is tied to the agent. So if one dies, the other one will. Oh, wow. And there's an alien race that is after Mac that is hired to kill Mac. So, of course, Maddie's the one easiest to kill. So they have to protect Maddie in this facility. And, just her whole world, just everything that she knew, what would you do if you found out you were a clone?
I think I am.
And you never know. And she goes through this whole process of, does she fall apart or does she accept that this is her life now, and does she help? And she pulls herself together and, goes with Mac and the team to protect each other and protect Earth. It's just the whole story kind of goes through the phases where you find out that she's not exactly like all the other clones that they believe. Right, when a clone is created, they're basically kind of frozen in time. They don't form new attachments other than what the original already had. So she doesn't meet new friends. She doesn't fall in love, but she has fallen in love before she meets Mac. Okay. And just, going through the different process and, Maddie going from this kind of bookish scientist to being the strong woman was very, encompassing to see for sure. Yeah,
this would be an interesting movie or TV series.
I've been told that.
I'm like, wow, I'd really like to see this movie. That's what I'm thinking. because I like it when it has. It's not like you have that. You didn't talk about the twists and turns in it, but just the way the characters and the theme, you know, the whole scenario just sounds so interesting. It reminds me of Continuum a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing to deal with cloning there, but just the whole mission process and what they're setting out to do, and they have to do it to save the human race. And of course, most of these movies or stories always end on a good note, but still, it captures your attention. Thinking, wow, how are they going to save us? Do it. Now, what kind of personality does Maddie has? What type of person is she?
Maddie is she's very sweet. She's very much the type of person that if she sees somebody in trouble, she'll do anything that she can to help them. She'll take the shirt off of her back. She goes out of her way to help people. And she's never one to really quit with a gun if she has to. She prefers not to fight at all. She's very diplomatic in that aspect. But like I said, she's a scientist. She always looks for the logic in things too. And my dad compared her. He was, she's slightly like Spock. I'm like, no, she's just like you say, logic, and that's what a lot of sci-fi fans go to. Right. But she definitely depends on her wits more than she does her muscle. Mac is more the muscle. Yeah. And that was another kind of duality that I loved between them, is because they are the same person, but it's the experiences that Mac had with the ISC that changed her. Because Mac joined the ISC 5 years before Maddie was brought in. So she is a lot more tougher, having gone through missions and fight battles that we don't even know about. So she's a lot more harder edge. She's more protective, whereas Maddie's an open book. If you ask her a question, she's no problem telling you how she feels and everything.
Wow, good. Yeah, this definitely should be a TV series or something. Now,
Thank you.
Now, what you think of your fans so far? How your fans reacting to you being, first time sci-fi? Because the sci-fi world is humongous. That fan base. I'm not sure if you've been to the festivals and events yet, but it is like a madhouse. They come in dressed in character. I mean, it's off the chain. Now, have you been, or is it in your plans?
I have been to a couple of comic conventions, but not as an author. I've just been as a fan. I'm looking to maybe later on this year, or definitely next year, do a couple and see if I can't get a table and do a couple of things, definitely. That's something I'm very interested in doing. Is just when the book came out in April, a lot of them had already been booked up for the year. Right. So that's definitely something that just Chris and I have talked about a couple of times, and we're working on kind of getting me out to a couple of these conventions and things.
Good. Now, where some of the larger ones are held?
I've been to Heroes Con recently. Was it there? We went to one in Chicago and one in Philly.
Oh, I bet that was
last
nice,
year.
In Chicago, and I knew you had a good time with the one in Chicago.
Definitely.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Chicago. Like, I love the city.
I am too. Yeah.
And that was a lot. That's not one that I get to go a lot of, just because my work schedule and everything. But the one I got to go in Chicago was awesome. There's actually a Stargate convention in Chicago this year, I believe, too. Later half that I'm trying to twist Brad's arm to let me go, because I was a huge Stargate fan, and this is the last one too. But that one and the one in Philly we went to last year was a lot of fun.
Good. Yeah, I love that. All right. So your book is on Kindle. This mirror image is $2.99. You have the paperback issue, because I didn't pull up everything on this one.
Paperback is coming out soon.
Okay, so it's not available right now for mirror image.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see what some of your fans say. See how excited they are. New fans. All right, we're hearing great, well-paced story. Stutts creates characters you can really connect with and weaves them with an amazing story. Even if you're not a fan of sci-fi genre, you will enjoy this book. They're saying it was well-written, memorable characters, intriguing, engaging plot line. Wow, that is great. 4 stars, promising start. So what do you think of that when you read something like that?
It really blew my mind because I keep waiting for that 1-star review where it shreds my book to pieces. And please don't anybody do that now because I said that, because I might really cry. But it just kind of because just seeing the responses from some people that not a big sci-fi fan that really enjoyed that, and being such a new author, I was real kind of scared, and I had panic attacks the week before Mirror Image came out, just not knowing how people would react. And it really made me so thrilled and moved me to see so many people, respond to me through reviews and on Twitter telling me how much that they really enjoyed. And, the characters in the book itself spoke out to them. If I had to say the thing that I'm most proud of as an author is that my characters are kind of well-rounded. I really kind of pride myself in character-driven stories. And getting responses back where one of the reviews talks about Jackson, or somebody on Twitter may have talked about the character Jackson, just how much they loved him and they wanted to see him in his own book. That kind of surprised me. Because I have a couple of I want to go back once the third book comes out and do the 5-year story of the beginning of when Mac joins the ISC, and have kind of a new origin story with Mac and not Maddie. And I want to do the 3 Brooks brothers, because it's the twins, Seth and Logan, and then John, and I want to do their story. But I hadn't thought of one for Jackson. But I had a couple of people tell me how much they loved this character. Like, okay, well, maybe I'll do a short or something. I respond to my fans.
Yeah, why not? It's easy to get done. For Kindle, you don't have to worry about the paperback version. You can release that yourself. That's a good idea. Just a teaser, because that is really popular. And because I'm pretty much entertaining all genres on this show, and that is really popular with urban romance and even romance. I had one woman who just wrote straight romance, and she said her fans, she had planned on just doing maybe 3 of the books. She's up to, I think, 6. Fans. So she keeps it short, What, 100, 150 is pretty good. Now your book is what, 175? Change the Stars. I didn't see.
Yeah, that's the other book. That's the romance that I have.
Yeah, I didn't count the pages on Mirror Images. I meant to pull that back up.
Mirror Image is bigger than Change the Stars.
Oh yes, it's 186 is showing on Amazon. Okay, and everybody get that book, $2.99. Mirror Images. All right, well, let's roll into your latest release, which is Change the Stars. Now how you come up with that title, Change the Stars?
It was a lot. I had no idea what the title was in the book, and even after I finished writing it. And I had to reread the book several times, and it was a scene between the 2 main characters, Dean and Maggie, and he tells her that he has the opportunity to change her stars, and it just kind of clicked in my head. And it was just kind of like one of those little moments where, I must have read that sentence hundreds of times, but it was just, and that one time, it was just like it really clicked in my head. I'm like, okay, that's what she wanted. This was a woman who, growing up in the 1930s as a privileged daughter, the only daughter, and her life was planned out for her. Her father was marrying her off. She had no say in the matter. And she wanted everything she could to fight against what her destiny was laid out to be.
Maggie Piper. That's her name, right? Okay, Maggie Piper is the only daughter of the 1930s crime lord. Okay, so she's the daughter of a crime lord, and it's based in Texas. And her father promises her hand in marriage, to a mobster. So he's trying to keep her in the gangster family or something like that.
Yeah. You find out through the book, and this is not a real spoiler or anything, so I don't mind saying that, but Colton, her father, is real ill. And being that she is his only child, if he dies, his whole territory is gone. So he wants to marry her to another so that his territory survives even after he's gone. So that way Randy can come in and basically run his territory and Colton's as well. So in his mind, he's looking out for her and protecting her. She just doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
All right. And this is the 1930s. What's the dress style like in the 1930s?
I had the guys, I mean, kind of old school, like gangster movies. The guys are mostly in pinstripe suits. I made reference to it a couple of times. Maggie's mostly in a dress, just kind of but this was pre-World War II. So, like, fashion was kind of dull at the time. A lot of, resources were not going out to, fabrics and everything. So, kind of plain cotton dresses and some of the just plain T-shirts and slacks.
And the guys wore hats a lot then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, looking at your cover, it looks a little modernized. This guy looks almost like James Bond. And then the female is like
the original cover I was sent from the publisher Lazy Day, the guy looked like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. And I just made this face. I'm like, I love the show. I love How I Met Your Mother, and I love Neil Patrick Harris, but that wasn't who Dean was. And I was like, that's I'm sorry, like that's not right. And I had to pull up the picture of Marlon Brando from Streetcar Named Desire. I was like, this is Dean, and that's who they came back with. And I love the cover, and I love the guy on there is actually looking for a picture of John, because for the cover idea that I had for the second in my Mirror series, I wanted a picture of like John and Maggie, and it was like I found this like perfect couple, and she looked just like how Maddie looks in my head, and the guy is there smiling, his arm around her, and I realized it was the same guy from the cover. It changed the stars, and I was rolling. I said that to Katrina. I'm like, we got to do something with this, just because it amused me.
But that is an interesting looking cover, and I ended up we did something with that tonight, and I said, wow, let's do something with that. Now, how exciting is it to have your second book out?
It was very thrilling.
Very thrilling.
Especially doing something. I'm sorry?
I'm saying this is the one you're going to take out on the road with you, correct?
Possibly, yeah. Well, Mirror Image is that's the one closest to my heart, and that's what I'm actually going to have that out in paperback soon. And but yeah, Change of Stars was something very kind of different for me. Just that was one of the first stories that I wrote that wasn't sci-fi, and I really, because some of the content in there, I really thought this was never going to get published. If it was going to be released, I would probably have to self-publish it. And I was very excited and surprised when Lazy Day Publishing offered me a contract for it. But
Lazy Day has this one. Okay, so they're not the same people that got this. Okay, Distinguished Press has the first book, and Lazy Day has this one. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Two separate publishers. All right. Hold it down. Okay. So this is the romance book then, the real romance. Yeah. Okay, well, are you prepared to read anything tonight?
I can.
Yeah, it's all yours. Yeah, let's hear something.
I do not have anything prepared, so kind of give me a moment to fire up my laptop.
No problem. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about the two different publishers, what you like, what you don't like. Or if you had to do something better, what would you do between the two publishers?
Distinguished Press is one that I am very, that's my home in a way. I'm very close with everybody involved. We are a small group of people that combine together to kind of promote ourselves and to better each other. Hold on just a second. I need to grab my laptop here.
Lazy Day. I'm not familiar with them. So are they based in the same city?
No. Lazy Day actually was bought out by Blushing Books in May. And Blushing is Blushing is the second or third largest romance ebook publisher, and they're out in Virginia. So I'm still relatively new with them and kind of learning the ropes with them.
Right, right. Wow. Yeah, we're starting to hear about some of these presses, but it's been happening for a long time. Because I was working for a publishing company, and they were being shopped around for a while. About a lot of the companies coming out of I think it was out of Switzerland, I believe. My dad told me was shopping a lot of press in the Maryland area and in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those guys, they still around, but they got them all spread it out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
before they were all under one house. Now they kind of departments are all over the place. All right, good. That's good to learn. So, oh shoot, my Apple about to die on me. I forgot my charger. Yeah, okay. So you ready now?
My laptop is still firing up here.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Sorry.
So, now which brand is? You gotta tell us.
I have an HP.
HP. Wow, I haven't heard about anybody owning an HP in a while. Most of the governments are, I think they're rocking. No, matter of fact, I think they are doing HP right now because I think HP has most of the government procurements right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My dad is an electronical engineer, and until he retired last year, was actually building communications programs and software for some military contracts, and he built the laptop for me. So that does not surprise me.
Oh, okay. That's good. That is good. All right. Well, while you're doing that, we'll talk about a little bit about what was happening. So your write-up, your book description was saying basically, again, the dad promised her hand in marriage to the son of a mobster in New Mexico in order to preserve his legacy and place his best man, Eric Cooper, to protect her. But before she can get safely down the aisle, Dean Lawrence, a henchman of a rival syndicate, kidnaps her. Wow. Now the battle threatens to erupt over supremacy in West Texas, but another battle is brewing too between Dean and Eric over Maggie's heart. So Dean ends up. So Dean is a henchman. So he already knows it. He's fallen in love. Well, he fell in love with her already.
Dean is kind of a psycho originally. He found her after she turned 21. There was an article in the paper about her coming out and everything, and was kind of obsessed with her, and had already devised ruse that somehow he was going to get her. He wasn't quite sure what that meant, but he knew he wanted her. And there was the battle for territory in Texas, and that's how he kind of came about it, is that he pitched, kidnapping her to use as leverage to get territory back from Colton. So that's how his boss signed off on it. So he kidnaps her to make sure that she does not walk down the aisle to complete, the transaction, as it were, with Colton and the from New Mexico, and doesn't realize that he's in love with her, but he is. And in his heart and his mind, I've got the thing pulled up here, so give me a moment and I'll read a little bit here as soon as I can find where I want it.
Now, you had a fan that was trying to get a hold of the show. Miss Katrina Taylor says she's a huge fan, but she trying to locate the show. So I think I just sent her something that she can locate you on Facebook, the phone number. So she must think she can click on it. So I'll let her know that she has to use her phone to listen to the show right now. So she probably wasn't sure. Yeah, it was funny because sometimes sci-fi fans are real techie,
Yeah.
So maybe she didn't understand that the phone number is. Now, some people can dial through Skype. You can do that. So, I guess I may have to start mentioning that you can get it through soft phones as well as landlines. So, but, all right, you ready?
Yeah.
She's up.
I was waiting for the laptop. It froze here. Now I think I'm getting it here.
Yes, that's one thing about electronics. I mean, we talking about that, all the time. How the banks have really set the pace on making electronics convenient for you. Nowadays you can just pull up and you can talk to the bank teller through those little windows.
Yeah.
Electronic windows they have now. It's almost like a kiosk type operation. You don't have to worry about going in the banks, which is good for them because anybody walk in there, I mean, there must be trouble. Two things: either you're trouble or you want to open up a bank account, which you could have done online. So And a lot of government agencies are also trying to offer people an opportunity to file for benefits at kiosks and smartphones and all that good stuff. So how has technology really, embraced the author world in your opinion?
Wow, it really. Yeah, it really makes it easy because, with my tablet, and you have Google Drive now, if you can pull up an internet connection, I can write in Google Drive and pull it up on my tablet, on my cell phone, on my laptop, on anybody's computer that I can connect to. It's, really kind of, I write a lot of my stuff by hand most of the time, but, yeah, it's really kind of great to have being able to do pretty much anything I want whenever.
That's right. And I mean, it helped you tremendously, to put up the amount of books you have, and then with the now as your fan base climb the ladder, I mean, the numbers are starting to expand, and how long does it take you to produce a book?
When I get good in writing, I can finish a book in about 3 months. I work at an inbound call center. If I'm not on a call, I'm in my notebook or I'm on some kind of electronic device writing. And I do a lot of my big writing on Sundays a lot too if I have the chance. So if I get in a real good writing groove, then I can probably put together a book in about 3 months.
Okay, that's good. So are we going to see your books coming out every 3 months?
I hope so. I've got the second one in the Mirror series is going to be coming out in about August. We don't have quite the release date on that just yet, but we're working on that. And I actually have book 1 in a new sci-fi series that may also come out in August. And then I have a crime drama romance that may also be coming out in August.
Wow.
So, yeah, I have the potential for 3 books. I don't have the release dates on them yet, and I'll have that up on my website and my blog when I do. But I have, the second one in the Mirror series. The third one is also probably coming out in November or December. I'm writing that one right now.
Tremendous. So you love the ebook nation.
Yeah, I told my publisher that I'm her little writing monkey because I got about 5 books in the Mirror series planned. I've got about 5 books in my Amethyst Chronicles, my other series planned, and I can do a lot with the new series too. Is I kind of have it built into where if for any reason I don't want to write with the characters in the Amethyst Chronicles, I have others that I can write about in that same universe. So it's very exciting for me. I'm pretty happy.
Yes, it is. I know you are. A new career. And what's going to happen when, every 3 months you're putting these books up and you're really starting to see a really good income starting to come in? Would you leave your job now, or you're just like, this could be just a short trend? What are your goals right now?
If I had the ability to produce and the money coming in regularly, I would really consider it. I would love to be able to write full time, but I would need to know that I've got that income coming in.
That's right.
Yeah, I got a really good job right now. I'm pretty steady, and so I would not feel comfortable leaving without knowing that I was definitely stable and able to produce.
Yeah, I understand. But, I mean, it's so many. I mean, like I said, I meet a lot of people on this show, and there's some authors out there really doing very well. I mean, I had authors that were former drug dealers that actually served federal time that are generating the income that they was making when they was pushing drugs. So, and they said they're living very well. So I'm like, wow. And some of them would tell me what they're making per month. A lot of them do 2. They push like 1 or 2 books a month because the fans. I guess the fans are treating it like it's reality TV or it's a series, and they expect that, when they finish this book, which a lot of them are finishing these books like in 2-3 days, they'll be patient because I think social media has helped you guys out a lot because you get a chance to engage them more, and you can dialogue with them, and it kind of holds them. It makes them happy. Oh, wow, my favorite authors communicate with me. And then when you do release the book, because you're kind of telling them, I'm working on it now. I'm actually writing it now. It's like you building up that suspense, that anxious. They're so anxious to get their hands on it, and then it happens, bam, So very good.
I have these author cards that I keep in my purse that's got the cover mirror image on there, and basically my social media information. And right after Mirror Image came out, I would go. Of course, I'd put some on the cards, but I'd try not to really, litter everything. And I got into an idea of putting my cards inside some other sci-fi novels at Target and Walmart and places like that. And I have a necklace that I wear that I actually got on Etsy that says Born to Write. And I was at Target one day, and the woman cashier asked me about that. I'm like, yeah, I actually am an author. And I pulled out my card, and her eyes lit up. She was, I just finished reading Mirror Image. My first, I couldn't. Had I had 2 extra seconds to think, I would have been like, oh, that's cool. And no, my first reaction is, get out. And she started laughing. She's like, no, I just finished reading it. I found I bought, she bought one of the books that had the cards in it. And and then she looks at me and she put her hands on him. She goes, how dare you end the book in a cliffhanger? I was like, I'm sorry, you got to wait for the second book. She goes, when? I was like, it's coming out in August. And I was like, go to the website. We'll actually have it available for pre-order. And that satisfied her. She wanted to ask me so many different questions, like my email address. Like if you go to my website, you can email me or you can ask me questions on Tumblr. I'm very trying to be as sociable as I can.
That's right. So you dealing with Tumblr also?
Yeah, I don't do as much on Tumblr. A lot of the things that I do will be little excerpts of works in progress. And then I kind of save the blog and the website for the things that are coming out. But some of the ones that I'll be working on, I'll share a scene occasionally with, so I can see if I can get any feedback if somebody really liked that, or if anybody has any idea on how they can make the scene better. Yeah, that I like to do, and I don't get a lot of response back on Tumblr because I really don't probably promote it as much as I should be. But sometimes I do get a response, and I did that a lot with the Amethyst Chronicles as I was writing it, and the response I kept getting was, when is this coming out? Nobody had any other feedback other than, I need to get my hands on this. I'm very excited that one is going to be coming out here shortly too.
That's a good idea. Now, what was interesting, I met an author who, her blogs are like stories, like little short. She'll just write a romance situation between 2 characters, and it's building her fan base. I was like, get out of here. Yeah, she said she does it in these little rooms. She'll write a piece and let them have that for the day. And then of course they come and beg, you're just teasing us. Why are you doing this? That may be something that you can. I mean, I know it's free, but it probably can excite new fans. They're getting a little piece of it. It's almost like writing a blog, but except for you making it all up.
Yeah.
So that'd be something to think about. It's just a very
I actually do something a little similar. I write wrestling fan fiction, again, going back to my wrestling fandom, and just create an original character and kind of create a story with a wrestler everyone knows. I don't have to do a lot of character building. Most fans that are going to read it already know who these guys are, and I've actually have based on some of the feedback, and it really helps hone, kind of tighten up my skills a lot better. I'm doing that because I try to get a chapter up at least once a day on this one that I'm writing right now. And, getting a lot of the feedback, and I let them know, like, hey, if you like the way I write, if you like my stories, you can check these out. And I've gotten a couple of people that have bought, Mirror Image and Change the Stars because of that. So it's something that I like to do.
So you said you blog about the wrestling events? Is that what you said? Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Now let me ask you again about what you were doing. You said Walmart. You said you was putting your business cards in the other books that were sitting on the shelf. Is that what you said? Wow. Interesting. Guerrilla marketing, right?
Yeah. Brad mocked me at first. He's just like, people are just going to throw these away. Like, some, that's fine, but yeah, I believe this is going to work. And then when I found that one from Target that talked to me, It's actually been kind of profitable in a way, just being able, because if you look at that, most people you're either going to toss it away or you're going to be like, okay, well, what's this? And you're going to check it out.
Yeah,
and I had one, I had one, somebody left me a response they sent me an email from my website that was like, do you really think this is good marketing? And I have no idea if they were snarky or not. I kind of took it that way. But they went to my website, which has all of my books on it, and it's got my Instagram, and it's got my Tumblr, and you went to my blog. Like I can see that you checked my stuff out. So whether you're going to comment about that right now, you still went here.
That's right.
So if you bought a book, great. If not, at least I got you were under my books for a little bit. So
that's right.
That's kind of how I looked at that.
Yeah, that was sneaky. Offline marketing, right?
Yeah, so I try to come up with some. Yeah.
So is the computer cooperating?
Yeah, I got a good one here. I believe this is from Change the Stars on here.
All right, here we.
He stopped himself before he admitted to Maggie that it was everything. She was everything. He'd become addicted to her. The way her hair fell on the pillow, the gleam in her eyes when she looked at him, her scent, the softness of her skin, everything about her drove him crazy. Maggie looked deep into his eyes, hanging on his every word. He swallowed the hard lump forming in his throat before continuing. I had approached my employer with a scheme which is what led us here. I would kidnap you before you could leave Midland. I needed to take you away before you could go to New Mexico, or worse, stolen by Mr. Ross. He does have very explicit designs on you, plans that I aim to put a stop to. So what do you get out of it, Maggie asked. I'm hoping you, he told her. Dean's admission had stunned her into silence. She lay perfectly still on his chest, ignoring the kisses against her temple. He wanted her. Dean really wanted her. Not because it would suit his situation, not for a revenge scheme, not to run the territory. He actually wanted her. You care about me? She asked. More than I can say, he told her softly.
Wow. So that's that. So what chapter was that reading?
That one is a title called "The Truth Behind the Mask."
And what number chapter was it?
I don't have a number on that one.
Okay. Good. I like the way that flow. Good style. Good dialogue. Wow, he was addicted to her, like most guys are to women. They're addicted. Can't I guess the visual presence of a woman is always the first thing that captures a man, and then once he's able to hold her hand and to I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but did you know that that when we touch you guys, it's kind of something that we wanted to do, like that you allowed us to do, like hold your hand. You ever do you ladies know that it means something?
Yes.
Like a hug. Oh, you know that.
There's actually in the beginning of the story, between Maggie and Eric, she puts her hand over his as he sits next to her, and next to it actually it's a small. It was small but meaningful. So yeah, it's very important, little things like that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Details like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because it's like a little invisible wall between you. It's like your boundaries are set when you're first dating a person or first talking to them. You're just trying to get into their life before they accept you. And so, like, if you get a chance to hold her hand, or put your hand on her shoulder, or hug her, that's like the men. That's like baby steps for us. Of course, we're thinking about hitting a home run, but if a woman knows how to use those small things, that's how she can really get a guy to fall in love with her. I guess you guys know that. It's out there now. I told the secret.
Uh-oh.
All right.
I hope you don't get in trouble.
No, I won't get in trouble. Maybe the other guys say, I didn't know that. That's what they probably saying right now. They didn't know that. Those little small baby steps mean something to women, because it's a mental game when you first trying to get into somebody's life. Now, what is he thinking? He's trying to, because he hasn't had her yet in this scene, correct?
With Dean?
Right. They just basically just touching bases with each other, just getting to know each other.
This is they have been together at this point, but this was him finally opening up and showing his true self, which he had actually kind of been denying because he has such a hard exterior with his job. And he tells her at one point later on in the story that I can't tell you that I love you because my heart does not have the capacity. But with you, it trembles. And I hope that can be enough for you.
That's right.
Of course,
he's a man. He's a killer. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. And he had a very rough life leading up to everything. But, Maggie is the she helps melt his cold heart. And one of the lines that the publisher kind of came up with is, find love even in the darkest of hearts. And she is the light that shines in him that makes him want to be a better man. And at one point, he's not even sure if he can turn his back on this hard lifestyle, but he would willing to risk everything and to do whatever it took to make her happy. So he wanted to change her stars as much as she wanted her star to change their lives. And that was, to me, kind of very, very telling, the story between Eric and Dean and Maggie, because Eric had the opportunity to tell her, and he just couldn't. He was scared. He was loyal to Colton, who had decreed that nobody could touch his daughter. And she calls him a coward. He's like, you know what, you're right. And Dean tells him, a man who doesn't fight for what he wants gets what he deserves. And, in the end, that was true. Dean and Maggie, have a wonderful life together after everything, and Eric didn't.
Very good. Wow. Well, I know your fans are excited. The only thing I'm kind of tossed, like, where you going to put most of your attention? Are you going to hit romance, sci-fi, romance,
Yeah, sci-fi is always going to be my main love. I do love, the romance, and of course, I have my romantic elements in my sci-fi. I probably will plan to come out with maybe 1 or 2 a year of the romance versus probably like the 3 or 4 sci-fis that I've got coming out. Here's the story strikes. I've got another. I'm currently writing 2 books. The third one in my Mirror series, which I'm very excited about. It's very intense, and I'm very excited to get going. I'm through first couple of chapters in the book now, and I keep talking to our publisher, and she's like, don't tell me, I want to read it. Like, don't talk to me about anything yet. And I'm like, I need it. But I'm writing another one right now that is another historical romance that is very fun. It's going to be a lot of fun dealing with pirates and things of that. So I read the synopsis to a couple of friends whose eyes like automatically lit up when I told them. So this is going to be fun, and that may be coming out next year. We're looking good.
Yeah.
I just took it out of the oven, baby.
Good. That is good. That is good. All right, well, I appreciate you coming on the show, kg-stutts. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans who are going to be listening to the replay? Because they've been hitting me up in the inbox. So what you like to say to your fans that's coming on board through Positive Power?
I definitely appreciate everybody's support, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the books as I come out, and stay with me for the rest of the year because we've got some exciting stuff coming.
All right, that's our prolific writer of sci-fi, romance, and mystery, kg-stutts. She's the author of Mirror Image and Change the Stars. Her publishers, DistinguishedPress.com and LazyDayPub.com. And you can also go hit her up at the Writers Network. And of course, Facebook is where you spend most of your time. So I think that's where people are going to fall in love with you at, right there on Facebook, waiting for that next one to come out. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming out on Positive Power, Joy Royce Live, and we hope to have you on again when you release your next books. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I love having you. Thank you.
That's right. We enjoy talking to you, and do that sci-fi thing. And don't forget to check out Continuum, okay? And tell me about it on in the inbox, all right?
Oh, definitely will.
All right. This is Jerry Royce Live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us live on the show, and continue to share this file with your friends on Facebook. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
Positive Power 21.org. Internet radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That's a wrap. Thank you for joining Jerry Royce.